I'm going to show you exactly how I made this AI image generator app and how you can do the same if you're looking to become a software developer. The AI revolution is happening as we speak, so let's get on top of it with your first application. First and foremost, we're going to be using the React to build out our application. So first, go to your terminal in your root folder and begin by installing React by doing an npm install, and then create your application folder by using the create react app command and name it whatever you feel like. Also make sure to install Axios, as this is what we're going to be using to make the API calls, and we also want to be using Material UI to make styling the application a little easier. Now you're going to head over to the OpenAI website. We're going to be looking through the documentation to see what we want exactly. In the introduction page, we're given a package to install with either Python or JavaScript. I'm most familiar with JavaScript, so I'm going to go ahead and install this package through my terminal. Next, since we're working with an API, we need an API key to give us permission to retrieve the data OpenAI is offering. So just go over to the API key page and hit create new secret key. Okay, great. We have an API key, but we don't want other people to know what our key is, so we don't want to hard code it into our main file. What we're going to do is load it into a .env file in the root of our folder and call it React App OpenAI API key. Then we'll install .env so that we're able to just call this variable by using the process.env object. Alright, great. We've got the main base requirements down. Now let's get into the actual code. We're first going to start off by creating the function that will actually make the HTTP request to the API. This will be a good chance to go back to the OpenAI documentation and have a look at how the heck we even do that. Under the create image section of the documentation, it gives us the exact parameters we need. So all we have to do is create a post request to this link and pass in these three parameters. We first need a prompt, so something like a cute baby sea otter that they use in the example. We also need an n integer which chooses the amount of images we want, and finally the size of the images. After we send that post request, we'll get an array of URL objects containing the link to the images. Okay, perfect. Now we can actually code this up. Okay, first we create a folder called lib in the root of the folder and create a file called openai.js. This will be our API function. We'll import Axios and call the function generate image, and make sure to put a prompt parameter in there, since that's the only thing we'll be changing in the whole API call. The next block of code is for calling our API key from the .env file and adding it to the header. The next block of code is for our data. Like we saw in the documentation, we'll put in the prompt parameter variable. We want only one image and the size to be 1024 by 1024. And then we'll put it in a try catch by posting it to the given URL from the documentation and passing it both the data and the headers. After we're done with all that, let's export the function. Perfect. Now we have the main API function called done with. All we have to do now is make a stylish front end. For this, we won't go over too much about Material UI and all that, or else the video will be too long. I'll go over the main parts of the code and I'll make sure to link the GitHub to the code so that you can check out the full thing. First, of course, import the generate image function we just created. Then we can set up some states to hold our prompt, image URL, and I also have a loading state so that we can get some feedback while we wait for the API call to return the image. Next, we have the handle generate image function, which is what we'll actually call the API to generate an image and store that response data in the image URL variable. In the body of the return, we have the input field to get the prompt variable and a button to initiate the API call function. And that about sums up the whole application. Now let's say npm start and launch our front-end server. By default, it'll be on localhost 3000, so just go to that in your browser. Now we have an application that will give us an AI-generated image based on our prompts. Let's be creative and as descriptive as we can. Play with it as much as you can and see what kind of results you get. I hope you enjoyed this video, and like I said before, the code will be in the description. And please hit that subscribe button to get your coding journey underway. Until next time guys, thanks for watching.